What's on YouTube? Back to another video. If your day's not going good, I hope tomorrow's better. Now subscribe to the subscribe button, notification bell. If I subscribe, thank you for your loyalty. We outside the house again, man. It's been a minute since I did a video anywhere other than inside my crib, other than the POV videos. So we're gonna be doing a simple white backdrop media day. Nothing too crazy for this one, but I'm gonna be giving you guys a step-by-step on pretty much how it is that I do it. So we're gonna break this video up into 3 steps, starting with the setup, then we're gonna go to the shooting, and then one of the most important parts of it, we're gonna go to the editing. I mean, if there's anything you wanna skip to in this video, there will be the chapters that are already set up. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna start with is the setup. So everything in this cart is pretty much everything that I need to set up, pretty much everything. So starting off with your backdrop stands. So I'm not exactly sure which backdrop stand this is. I just know I got it from Amazon. So I'm gonna put the link in the description, and I'm also gonna put it on screen. Working with that, honestly, it's a very cheap backdrop stand. I think this was like $40, $50. You can get a more expensive one, and they're more reliable in terms of carrying weight. But I've been doing this for about 3 years with a cheap backdrop stand. They work fine. The next 2 things that are pretty, honestly, a really big important part of media day setups is gonna be the soft boxes that I chose. I think these are both 34-inch beauty dishes. I'm gonna confirm that. I'm gonna put everything on screen to make sure that it's the exact ones that I'm talking about, but this is from Aperture and this one is from Glow. So honestly, I would recommend this brand a whole lot more. They're a lot cheaper. And bro, honestly, setting this up is a whole lot easier than setting this one up. Obviously, we got your backdrop paper. This is the same Savage backdrop paper. You get this from any camera store. I get all my backdrop papers from Unique Photo. It doesn't really matter where you get it from. As long as it's backdrop paper and not cloth backdrop, you should be fine. The next things are gonna be pretty much the light holders. So these are for my strobe lights. So this one is for my 8200 Pro and this one is for my 8600 Pro. This is like a little mount holder for the 8200 Pro because you know the way that it's shaped. Yeah, these were pretty expensive. These alone are more expensive than the whole backdrop stand because they are heavier. I would recommend getting a heavier one with these because you don't want your lights to be falling. I've experienced that. It's not fun, especially if you're shooting outdoor, it's windy. These are more prone to staying upright rather than a regular tripod stand, you know what I'm saying? And these are C-stands. This is pretty much the bottom part for it. So this is a whole lot more stable than this like a tripod stand. I would still even recommend putting sandbags over this just in case, because I've even had this tip over before. Last but not least, probably the most important thing is gonna be the lights that I chose. Like I said before, we have the 8600 Pro and the 8200 Pro. I mean, I don't really know a better combination than these two in terms of if you're doing a 2-light setup. And if you are using a white backdrop, if you don't want that shadow, I would recommend a 2-light setup, and you'll see why later on in this video. With that, we're just gonna go ahead and get to the setup and just do a little time lapse of me setting up, and I'm gonna cut in on any important parts that I feel as though is, well, crucial for the setup. Let's go. Now that we already set up, we got the backdrop and everything set up, I'm gonna show you how it is that I adjust the lights. So for this one, I'm adjusting the lights so that I don't have any shadow in these white backdrop photos. I'm just going for a very clean look. So I pretty much just do one on each side. It's really nothing to it. It's pretty much that simple. I'm gonna show you how I do that. Starting with the 8600 Pro, I usually always keep that to the left side of me, but to the right side of the client. The one thing you always want to make sure, if you have the height for it, you want to make sure that this is pointing down on the client. So you want to keep it at an angle like this. You want to make sure it is a decent height above them. So it kind of replicates the sun in a way, if you kind of keep that vibe. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now. So you honestly kind of want to go for a vibe like this. Y'all see how pretty much tall this is. If it was dark, you could honestly, with the 8600 Pro, you could use the model light so you can see exactly where your light is pointing. But I've done this so many times at this point, I should be okay with knowing where it is. And Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. So we're gonna do pretty much the same exact thing on the opposite side to the 8200 Pro. The only thing left to do now is just pretty much make sure you do your test shots, make sure the lighting is where you want it to be. We're gonna go ahead and get a model on the backdrop paper so that we can test the lighting for the most part. That way I can tell y'all what settings I usually use for these photos. Because honestly, I don't have it off the top of my head. It really just based off of the project, honestly. So let's get into that. So now that we have our lights adjusted, we're just gonna talk about the camera settings I shoot with and the lighting settings that I shoot with. So for my camera settings, I keep it very simple. I am using a Sony A1, so I keep my shutter speed at the 200, which is the normal shutter speed for strobe photography if you're not using high speed sync. So I keep it at 200 unless I'm doing any action shots, but I'm doing pretty stationary shots. So I keep it at 200 and my ISO is at, I range it in between like the 125 to 200. I just play around with it based off of the brightness. So for my lighting settings, I have my A light, which is the 8600 Pro. I have that at 1/16 plus 0.7. And then for my B light, I have that at 1/8. That's pretty much it. So I kind of play with my settings based off of who I'm shooting and how I'm shooting, but it doesn't really range too far away from this. But as I'm shooting and putting them on the screen, I'm gonna show you the raw photos, and I'm just gonna show you pretty much the settings that I chose for those photos. Other than that, let's get right to shooting. That's good. All right, that's great. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, bet. Do you wanna look up or at the camera? So, are you looking up or are you looking at the camera? Which one are you gonna do? So where do you want the picture taken at? Like where you want, I'm gonna just take it and we're gonna see what it looks like. 2, 1. Okay. I was gonna say, what is it? What is it? The throwdown? Like your throwdown position? Like when you get up like this type shit? If you want. Ready? 3, 2, 1. No, I like it. We're gonna do it one more time though. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Rock with this? Okay. Green? All right, next. Hold on, wait. 3, 2, 1. Nah, it ain't gonna work. 3, 2, 1. One more time. 3, 2, 1. That's great. We all finished up with the photo shoot now. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump right over to the editing. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so we're back here at, the usual spot, the bat cave. Yeah, so now we're gonna get into the editing things. It's really simple. Because it's white backdrop, I promise you, you do have to go ahead and throw this in I throw them in Photoshop. You ain't gotta follow these ways. I'm just showing you how I do them. And honestly, it's a good way to make them look better, trust me. So here we are over on Lightroom, and honestly, I haven't done anything. I just exported them into the computer. So we have even all the way back to the first few test shots and everything like that. But we're gonna start from the beginning because I feel like the full body shots are the perfect ones to start with. First pose that he ended up actually going with after I was done with all my test shots, because all of these were tests, was the screaming. And he said he ended up liking the ones where he was looking up a little more. So we're just gonna use this as a test subject regardless, but I'm kind of trying to be productive as well. So with this one, all we're gonna do is, so I already have my my presets for them, but what I am also gonna do is just go ahead and check everything because I wanna make sure everything is good. So backdrop wise, I do want the whites to be a little more white, and I want to get rid of the shadows and the edges, as you can kind of see. So I'm just gonna increase the shadows just a little bit. And then, like I said, just to separate him, I don't like that it's highlighted down, so I'm gonna change that. And I'm gonna bring the texture of him up and the sharpness of him up, just in general. Bring the highlights just neutral. And I don't really want the whole, I don't really want that whole thing there. So with that, literally, this is pretty much all I'm gonna do. Really, really sharp with this photo. I like the way everything looks. It's just a normal white backdrop photo. The only thing is, obviously, the elephant of this photo is just this background, right? So for those who don't know, you can do a generate fill, which is just an AI fill on Photoshop. It's a little time consuming to do through multiple photos, but I promise you it's a whole lot more worth it because you want that wide look for your photos, especially when you're doing full bodies. Because when you have, like if I were to go ahead and zoom this in, right, just to get rid of that, I hate the way this looks. I really, really do. And it doesn't even look bad. That's the crazy part. What I do is I keep this wide. I could even go even wider, right?
Then all I click is edit in Photoshop. Give it a little bit of time. You know what, I was loading. How y'all day been? Y'all been good? All right, it already loaded, I'm sorry. This process is very simple. I promise y'all, it's very, very simple. All you're doing is you're simply highlighting the parts that you want to be filled on the outside. So right, I'm probably explaining it wrong, but just follow my steps. So you're gonna click the, I think it's the select tool, right? What is this? The rectangular marquee tool, right? So you're gonna click that and you're gonna drag from the parts that you want to be, you know, filled into the rest of the subject, right? So you're already seeing I made it kind of like smaller, so literally just watch this. Once you do that, you're gonna select that, you're gonna select the inverse, so it's selecting everything outside of that box. You're gonna click generate fill, click generate, let it work its magic, bro. I promise you, unless you have anything else on the screen, that it's really that simple. Watch it work. And boom, just like that. Just like that. It's just a way more pleasing photo to the eye because there's a lot more room around the subject. Once I'm done with this, all I do is I click the X, save the changes in Photoshop. So it's gonna save the changes directly to the file. I'm gonna click yes. And there's your new photo, right? So with this, I can still add a whole bunch of stuff to this because it's still a raw image. So, you know, it's really like no loss for the most part. So if I wanted to decrease anything, increase anything, yada, 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 I could still go ahead and work. And that's pretty much it. Like I would probably do a whole lot more just playing around with these in terms of just tidying up everything, making sure everything looks nice and sharp, how I want it to look. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Now I'll do one more photo that doesn't really require that whole, you know, that whole thing. So like this one right here, for example, this is a photo that doesn't really require it. What I'm just gonna do is copy the regular settings from this, and I'm just gonna take it over to pretty much one of these. So it could honestly be this one right here. Only thing I'm just gonna do is make sure I level this, which obviously it's not gonna be to pick up on because there's no backgrounds to pick up on. But I just want this to be a little more centered. Yeah, like I'm perfectly fine with this, and the only thing that I would add to this is just editing to the subject himself. So like I said, editing to the subject himself and the background himself. The same thing I did to the first one. I might as well just put the whole the preset on there. I might as well just do that, save me some time. I don't want the ball to be affected by this, so I'm definitely gonna circle around the ball so that's not affected. And then I'm gonna go back to my subject and just increase those highlights. I don't want those down. Increase the brightness of him, and boom, simple as that. Now this is another photo where you can make it a whole lot wider. You could do this whole little same vibe, and you can. It's just not too necessary. Once again, chill white backdrop photo. Like there's nothing crazy to it. It's really, really simple and really, really easy. And that's pretty much it. Okay, all right, man. This was. I hope this video didn't take y'all all over the place. And I hope this video wasn't that long. I really don't think it should have been, but I hope this video did help a lot of people. I've been wanting to do this video for a minute. I just had to get everything right because I'm not super keen about my media day photos. I still want to get a whole lot better before I just start giving out a bunch of advice. Like I'm not as confident in my media day photos as I am in my football photography and videography. Like I go crazy with that. But there's a whole lot more I still need to learn with media days. But within the 3 years, I know I've learned a lot from someone who is just beginning. So I do have something to offer. So that's what I did here in a very simple white drop. And I feel like in a simple white backdrop, I don't really know how you can get much better if you're doing a 2 light setup with no shadow, just a clean white backdrop media day. So once again, I appreciate y'all for everything, man. Hopefully when this video drops, I'm at 5K. I have no idea because I've had 2 to 3 videos already ready. This is probably gonna be the 3rd. I have no idea when this is dropping, but whatever. Whenever it is, if I'm at 5K, I appreciate y'all so much. I thank y'all, I really, really do. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, yeah. Don't forget to check out the merch link in the description down below. Check out the preset link in the description down below. And don't forget to check out the broadcast link in the description down below. However many members we are at right now, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and we be talking in there. Well, I'll be talking to y'all. Y'all be reacting, but you know, we like this though. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to stay creative. See you next one. Peace. Say what I always do.